The story begins on June 19, 1990. Based on an old videotape found by a company named Async, one of its researchers named Naren gets separated from his team. He becomes completely lost deep inside the back area of a mysterious complex. Confused and afraid, he finds a communication device and tries to call for help, but he receives no answer at all. Right at that moment, the situation turns terrifying. An unknown creature suddenly appears and begins to chase him without mercy. Naren tries to run away through halls that seem to have no end, but bad luck leads him straight into a dead end. Trapped with nowhere to go, he finally becomes a victim of the strange creature. The story then shifts to a man named Clark, who owns a furniture store called Cap'n Clark's Ottoman Empire. During a counseling session with his therapist, Dr. Mary, Clark talks about the marriage problems that are destroying his life. He has just been kicked out of his house by his wife Barbara after a massive fight caused by old problems they had hidden for a long time. Drunk, Clark let out all his anger at Barbara. He felt that his wife was enjoying the results of his hard work while she was busy chasing a law degree, which he believed gave no real benefit to them. Barbara did not stay silent and fought back with sharp words, calling Clark a failed architect who could not achieve his dreams. The argument ended with Clark getting kicked out of his own home. After finishing his therapy exercise with Dr. Mary, Clark returns to his store to record a commercial with his two employees, Kat and Bobby. Not long after, an electrician arrives to check a light problem that has disrupted the store's operations for the past 2 weeks. In the basement, Clark explains the strange things that keep happening. The outages almost always occur at night. The weirdest part is that the outage never hits the main store and the basement at the same time. If one area goes dark, the other area stays on. When night falls, Clark rests on a temporary bed inside the store while watching television. However, just like before, the screen suddenly goes blank because of another power outage. In another location, Dr. Mary is at home. She is watching a promotion for her newly released audiobook, a work made for people who feel lost in life. Near her sits a cement handprint that seems unimportant right now, but it will later have a big connection to the events to come. Meanwhile, Clark is waiting for his commercial to air on television. Suddenly, the screen turns dark and briefly shows a large room with bright yellow walls. A moment later, the lights in the basement start acting up again. Annoyed, Clark goes downstairs to check the source of the problem. However, his attempt causes the entire building to lose power. As he tries to call the technician on his phone, he notices something very strange on one of the walls. It is a glowing line that was never there before. Out of curiosity, Clark touches the light, and in an instant, the wall seems to swallow him, taking him to a completely unfamiliar place. Totally confused, Clark does not understand how he ended up there. He begins to explore the mysterious area looking for clues or someone who can explain what is happening. The hallways he walks through feel silent and terrifying. Along the way, he finds various objects that look completely out of place, such as piles of furniture, traffic signs, and even a dead bird lying on the floor. His journey leads him to a corridor filled with chairs. From a distance, he hears the sound of someone talking. Hoping to find another human being, Clark follows the voice. However, when he reaches the source, he only finds a cardboard cutout connected to a voice recorder. Curiosity pushes him to follow the wire connected to that device. The trail leads to a room filled with cameras and a small hidden door. Behind that door, Clark finds a suitcase belonging to Naren, the researcher from the opening footage. Although this discovery should raise many questions, Clark decides to keep exploring. He enters a narrow hallway that brings him to another room that is even more bizarre. In this place, several pairs of shoes look like they are fused into the floor, as if they have become part of the building itself. In the middle of the room stands a chair resembling a throne. Not far from it, a large hole opens, revealing a deep abyss filled with hundreds of chairs stacked without end. A short time later, the voice recorder attached to the cardboard cutout suddenly falls into the area behind Clark. As he walks closer to check it, he hears the sound of something smashing the device. Realizing that danger is nearby, Clark immediately runs away. He finds a path through a row of wooden planks that leads him back to the area near the stop sign he passed earlier. Without wasting any time, he runs toward the wall where he first entered this mysterious location. Before returning to the real world, he grabs a chair and drags it out with him as proof that the place is real and not just his imagination. At almost the same time, inside a quiet and uncomfortable research facility, a scientist is seen checking the video recording that Clark left behind in the room with the cameras. The next day, Clark meets with Dr. Mary and tells her about everything he just experienced. He describes the place as a giant maze filled with hallways and rooms that seem to have no end. According to him, the size of the area could equal the largest subway system, or even be much bigger than that. To explain how hard it is to understand the place, Clark uses an example. He says that describing the backrooms to someone else is as difficult as asking a person who has never seen a dog to paint its picture after looking at one only a single time. However, Mary still thinks the story makes no sense. Clark then shows her a map that he drew himself, which contains the paths he managed to track while he was there. He explains that writing down the routes and looking for an exit is the only way to survive in that place. Even so, Mary is still not convinced. Feeling frustrated, Clark stands up and firmly states that he will return with proof that cannot be denied. He even says that one day Mary will be forced to admit that he is right. When night falls, Clark asks Kat and Bobby to join him on a new expedition to the mysterious location. In return, he offers them a very attractive overtime pay. Both of them accept the offer without asking too many questions. Bobby brings a professional camera to record their journey, while Clark prepares a long rope and puts it inside his bag. He explains that they will stay tied to each other so they do not get lost or separated inside the maze. Clark is the first person to step through the wall. Kat and Bobby can only stand there in silence as they watch his body disappear completely. After taking a moment to calm their nerves, they follow him inside. Once they arrive, Clark explains what he has learned so far. He says the place is made of a network of rooms and hallways that are almost impossible to count, forming a giant structure that seems to have no clear borders. After exploring several areas, they find a room with a very deep vertical hole. Bobby is chosen to climb down first, while Clark holds the rope tightly so he can pull him back up at any time. When he reaches the bottom, Bobby finds himself in an area that is much darker. The floor and the corners of the room are filled with dirty clothes scattered everywhere. He continues his investigation carefully. However, just as the rope reaches its maximum lengths, a terrifying creature suddenly attacks him from the darkness. In a panic, Bobby climbs back up toward the top and warns Clark and Kat that there is a dangerous monster down there. But his warning comes too late. The creature grabs the rope that is still tied to him and pulls Bobby back down into the dark depths. The rope suddenly snaps tight, dragging Clark and Kat down into the hole with him. From below, they watch as Bobby is dragged away and killed by the creature. Kat immediately runs away to save herself. A few moments later, her screams echo through the hallways, showing that her fate is not much different. Now completely alone, Clark realizes that the creature is hunting him. He runs as fast as possible through various rooms that look more and more bizarre. One of the rooms he enters looks like a children's bedroom. However, the feeling that something is watching him never goes away. He keeps running until he reaches another area containing a Christmas tree, a man in a wheelchair, and a woman with a very strange appearance. This sight makes him panic even more, and he continues to look for an exit. His escape ends on a floor filled with old bathtubs. There are no doors, no hallways, and no visible paths to move forward. In the middle of the silence, he suddenly hears Kat's voice. The voice says that she is behind the wall and can see Clark from there. Hearing this, Clark moves toward the sound, But at the exact same time, the mysterious figure that has been chasing him this whole time also begins to move closer. The story suddenly shifts to the past, showing Mary's life when she was a child. When she was 9 years old, Mary grew up in an environment that was far from normal. She was raised by a mother who suffered from a severe mental illness and almost never left the house. Because of this, Mary's world was limited only to the walls of their home. The cement handprint that was seen earlier turns out to have a very deep personal meaning for her. That object was made on the exact day she was finally rescued from a life of total isolation. From that moment on, her childhood suffering slowly came to an end. For this reason, Mary keeps the handprint as a reminder of the turning point in her life. The story then returns to the present day. Several weeks have passed since Clark last met with her. Mary begins to feel that something is wrong because Clark's absence is completely different from his usual habits. She decides to go to his furniture store. When she arrives, the atmosphere feels strange. The store looks completely empty. There are no employees, no customers, and no one who can explain where Clark is. Mary checks the entire building and finally goes down to the basement. There, she finds various sketches and notes that Clark left behind. Not far from those papers, she sees the mysterious glowing line on the wall. With a curiosity that overcomes her fear, Mary walks closer and steps through the light. As soon as she enters the back rooms, she begins to explore the unfamiliar area. During her walk, Mary finds a large drawing that looks like it was made by someone who has spent a very long time there, trying to understand the structure of the place. A short time later, Clark appears. His behavior is completely different compared to before. He speaks in a calm and flat tone, as if he is inside a dream. Clark explains that the backrooms are now filled with his own memories. According to him, every time he tries to remember a detail clearly, that detail fades away even more. Because of this, the place feels imperfect, but it has a beauty that is hard to explain. As they talk, Mary hears the sound of footsteps approaching from a distance. She asks who is coming. However, instead of answering, Clark moves behind her and knocks her unconscious. In another place, an employee from the research company is at home with his family. When the commercial for Clark's furniture store appears on the television, he immediately recognizes the face. That man is the exact person who was recorded by the security cameras inside the backrooms this whole time. When Mary wakes up, she finds herself tied to a chair. Clark is sitting right in front of her. Standing around the room are several figures that look like humans, but their bodies have very strange shapes. There is a red-haired woman with a bizarre face, a small man in a wheelchair, and another creature that has multiple noses and eyes. Mary asks who they really are. Clark explains that the backrooms can create copies of humans. According to him, there are real people in the real world who act as the source for these copies. However, the figures in this room are just empty shells with no feelings or consciousness like normal people. To prove his words, Clark cuts one of the creatures, but the figure shows no reaction at all. He then explains that these creatures are not dangerous and can even be used as a source of food. Terrified, Mary begs to be released. She offers to help and promises to support Clark, but Clark refuses. For him, the backrooms have given him something that was lost from his life for a very long time. He feels he has found a new meaning that he never experienced during his daily routine job and his failing marriage. Even so, there is still one thing he wants. Clark demands that Mary admit she was wrong for not believing his stories about the backrooms. In a desperate situation, Mary finally admits it. After that, Clark forces her to play a role-playing game that reminds her of their previous therapy sessions. He wants Mary to act as Barbara, his ex-wife. The role-play goes on for a long time, until finally Mary decides to speak the honest truth. She says that the cause of Clark's broken marriage is much more complicated than just his drinking habit. According to Mary, the real problem is Clark's attitude, because he constantly complains, always blames other people, and almost never takes responsibility for his own mistakes. Those words make Clark fall silent. For the first time, he seems to truly think about everything Mary said. After a few moments, he admits that most of the accusations are actually true. Mary then says that she only wanted to help him this whole time. She admits she has not found the perfect way yet, but there is still a chance for Clark to fix his life if he is willing to face reality again. Those words make Clark go silent once more. A few moments later, he steps closer and unties the ropes holding Mary. However, just when the situation seems to get better, something unexpected comes out of the darkness. The figure looks like Clark, but its body is made of twisted and uneven pieces of wood, as if the Backrooms itself tried to create a fake version of him. The real Clark tries to calm his copy down. He explains that Mary is his therapist, not an enemy, and she has no intention to hurt anyone or force him to leave the place. However, the wooden creature shows no signs of understanding his words at all. Without warning, the creature attacks Clark. Seeing the situation turn terrifying, Mary immediately runs away. She quickly opens a door and is shocked to find herself in a very familiar environment. The place looks exactly like the neighborhood where she spent her childhood, but the entire area is inside the Backrooms. Even though the view looks familiar, the danger is still chasing her. The wooden creature keeps following her from behind. Mary runs into one of the houses and moves from room to room. The path she takes leads her through various strange areas that are connected to each other. After passing through several different locations, she finally arrives at a place that looks exactly like Clark's furniture store. There, she finds another cardboard cutout that looks like the one seen before. As the wooden creature gets closer, Mary makes a fast decision. She smashes the creature's face with the cement handprint that she always carries with her. At the exact same time, the cardboard cutout falls down and triggers a hidden mechanism that releases a gas-like sedative around the room. The chaos gives Mary a chance to escape. Using that moment, she walks down a narrow hallway that was hidden before. The hallway leads her to the edge of the mysterious complex, where a group of researchers from the Async company are waiting for Mary. They immediately rescue her and take her back to their research facility. Not long after arriving, her exhausted body and mind cause her to lose consciousness. When she finally wakes up, Mary finds herself inside the Async facility. There, the researchers are heavily observing the wooden creature that they managed to capture from the Backrooms. One of the staff members, named Phil, the man who previously recognized Clark from the security cameras, walks up to Mary and asks an important question. He wants to make sure if the entrance to the Backrooms is truly inside Clark's furniture store. However, Mary is not interested in talking about the bigger mystery. After everything she experienced, the only thing she wants to know is if she is allowed to leave. Phil answers that the decision is not up to him. Near the end of the story, it is revealed that Mary's experience with the Backrooms is not completely over. That place leaves a mark, just like it did to many other people before. In a corner of an endless hallway, there is now another version of Mary. It's a copy created by the Backrooms that looks just like her physically, but it has no identity, no memories, and no personality that make it a real human being. In other words, even though Mary managed to escape physically, a part of her seems to stay trapped inside that mysterious maze forever. And that is the end of the story.